Welcome to Storytimer at Large. Cheryl Ann Felger. Cheryl Ann Felger was 19, and she was from Van Wert, Ohio. She was born on April 1st, 1955. She graduated from Van Wert High School. She was abducted while riding her bicycle in the spring of 1974. It should have been a safe and enjoyable activity in the small rural town of Van Wert. Cheryl was found Saturday, April 13th, 1974, near Decatur, Indiana. She had been stabbed between 50 and 60 times in the chest and head. The spot where she was found is just over the border into Indiana, between Ohio and Indiana, near the town of Decatur, which is just south of Fort Wayne. Cheryl was found in a field. Deborah Lynn Dusing was another murder victim, also found stabbed to death just south east of Fort Wayne on Hartsell Road, and then south west of Fort Wayne is Markle, Indiana, and Lori Ann Brickley was found stabbed to death in Markle, Indiana. Cheryl Ann Felger's death. In her murder, police in Decatur zeroed in on two suspects, Timothy Allen Heckert and Ernest Richard Tope, were tried and convicted. Prosecutors said that they went to Van Wert, Ohio, and abducted Cheryl and brought her back to their hometown and attacked and killed her. Heckert said that he was innocent and he was being railroaded. Anything is possible in the world of violent crime in the 1970s, but would a killer bring a victim back from another state back to their own hometown area? I mean, maybe. They aren't geniuses. Herb Baumeister brought many victims back to his own home. John Wayne Gacy did as well. Maybe this killer did too. But would it be more likely that a killer would abduct a victim from near where they lived and then discard the victim further away from their home in order to distance themselves from the crime? That seems more likely, but I could be wrong. Still, these two men were tried and convicted of the murder of Cheryl Ann Felger. When I was first looking at this case, though, I did think of Eugene William Gall Jr. in this case. He is a serial killer from Ohio that was extremely prolific. So this seemed to have all the hallmarks of his criminal history. He was running rampant all over Ohio at this time. He was known as the Friday Night Rapist in 1970. He was only caught in 1978 when he kidnapped, raped, and murdered Lisa Jansen from Ohio. He took her to Kentucky, where he was apprehended by local police shortly after her murder. He also committed armed robbery there and, in a shootout with police, murdered a police officer. Not long before that, he had murdered Beth Ann Moat. He abducted her from Dayton in the October of 1977. He also abducted a group of children at a bus stop, herded them into a house. He tied the lady of the house and all of the children up. He raped all of the female victims and stole some money from the home and then took off. But Cheryl Ann Felger can't be one of Gall's victims because he was not free until 1977. He was incarcerated from April of 1970. He was incarcerated from December of 1970 to April of 1977. He immediately, though, began abducting, raping, and killing as soon as he was freed in April of 1977. He's currently serving a life sentence in Ohio. So if it's not Gall, who else was grabbing women off the street and viciously murdering them? let's look at the conviction that happened in Cheryl Felger's brutal murder. Ernest R. Tope and Timothy A. Heckert were arrested and convicted. Could they also be responsible for the murders of Deborah Dusing in October of 1973 and the March 1974 murder of Lori Ann Brickley? Both of those murders I've covered in the blog. I've made videos about both of those victims. Deborah Dusing and Lori Ann Brickley were both found not far from Decatur. Both Deborah and Lori were stabbed to death like Cheryl Ann Felger. Who was Ernest R. Tope? He was the older of the two perpetrators at 21 at the time of the murder of Cheryl Ann Felger. He was born in Decatur, Indiana in June of 1953. Who was Timothy Allen Heckert? He was born in Convoy, Ohio in 1954. Convoy is a small community just outside Van Wert, Ohio. I wonder if he still had relatives there and visited the Van Wert area often. Ernest Tope died of lung cancer in prison in 2011. His DNA should be in CODIS for investigators to check in the Dusing and Brickley cases. Timothy A. Heckert did not remain in prison for life after his conviction for murdering Cheryl Ann Felger. He was out by 1992, and we know that because he is in the papers for committing another crime, receiving stolen property. He served his sentence and was released in 2001. But his DNA should be in CODIS. Both Heckert and Tope have passed away. Could their DNA, though, tell us anything more about these two other cold cases, the Brickley case and the Dusing case? I wonder what story their DNA could tell us. Cheryl Ann Felger deserved a long and happy life. She deserves to still be here with us. Rest in peace, Cheryl.